On today's episode, I'm joined by the incredible Kandice Steitz, a devoted mother of three, seasoned hairstylist, and sound practitioner who's been helping others heal through sound frequency since 2021. With nearly 20 years in the beauty industry and a background in music, Kandice brings a powerful combination of presence, intuition, and energetic awareness to everything she does. We dive into the world of sound healing, exploring how different frequencies can shift your energy, support emotional release, and promote overall wellness. Kandice shares her journey into sound as a healing modality, the role of intention and mindfulness in her work, and how she uses tools like rain sticks, Tibetan bowls, and breathwork to help restore balance in the body and clear energetic blockages. This is a conversation about more than just sound. It's about self-love, personal growth, and learning to truly see and support others on their healing path. So with that being said, welcome Kandice Steitz to the show. Kind of put it into elementary terms for me, what I would love for you to share with the audience as well, like what is frequency?
Absolutely. And frequency is in everything. Like if we were to grind up something like even in the couch or anything like that and put it underneath a microscope, we can see vibrations coming off of it. That is frequency. Frequency is vibrations that are at a certain hertz, at a certain, vibrating point. So it's in our bodies, it's in our energy, it's the way that we speak, it's the way that when somebody walks into a room, you can feel that as well. And I'm a very visual person, so I like to think about frequencies as, so say I have a piano, okay? And we have low notes on the piano and we have high notes on the piano. And the low notes have really deep, like tones to it and stuff like that too. And the higher ones have a higher pitch to it. Maybe like, you can even think of it as like a whistle or something like that as well. Well, the frequencies are just a different way that the hertz vibrate per second. So the low frequencies or the lower notes have a very, like the waves kind of come out very wide and broad. Higher frequencies are waves that are a little bit closer together. So I also think of it as like if I was sitting by a pond or a body of water and I take a little pebble that represents a higher frequency and I throw it into there, you see all these little waves coming off of it, right?
Okay.
And then so whenever you have like a bigger rock and you throw that bad boy in there, it has a little bit of deeper waves and the waves are a little bit wider away from each other. And so that's the differences of like the higher frequencies and lower frequencies. And then they're measured in something called hertz. And that's just like a term used to like measure things, just like how like inches or feet can measure things as well. And so there can be the lower frequencies can be at like 0 to 32 hertz, or higher frequencies can be thousands of hertz. And it can also resonate kind of like even again, like with the energy of our bodies and things like that too. Like if you have a lot of high angsty energy and stuff like that, like you can have a little bit higher frequency. And like if you're more of like couch potato, like I want to go and hang out underneath my blankets, that type of vibe, it's a lower frequency. So sound waves can kind of help with that.
Yeah, and food too, right?
Absolutely, with food that we eat. Or even just like the food that we eat majorly. If you're going to go and hop on a bandwagon of McDonald's, that's a lower frequency of vibrations. But if you're going to be like giving yourself nutrients like fruits and vegetables, things with color in it, stuff like that, that is a higher frequency. And then, oh my goodness, practicing our five senses with that too, queen. That's even more wild.
Wow. So what do you mean by that? Is that like when you said practicing your five senses with
Oh
it?
man, like when we were kids, we learned about the five senses, like touch, smell, taste, hear, see, Right? Am I getting on all those? Anyways, so we can actually slow down in our moments whenever we're eating something. Like if we bite into, say we we're making a fruit salad for ourselves. Like usually we rush and we guzzle down food because like we need nutrients right now.
Mhm.
And we don't even think about what we're eating. And whenever we can slow down and be more mindful with what we're eating, like how does it sound whenever you're cutting into that strawberry, or the beautiful texture whenever you're touching it, or the colors of it, or what does it taste like? That's slowing down. That's also slowing down our frequencies so we're not in that rush whenever we're eating something, right? That's being more mindful and more in harmony of what we're eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So if I were, let's just say I wanted to tune into a certain frequency and I wanted to utilize this to like slow myself down. So it would be like a lower hertz than if I'm trying to, let's say, call in wealth or something. Is that because I know one of the frequencies that I listen to quite often is like 777 hertz.
Okay.
So what I'm getting at is like if I did want to just calm down and be like a little bit more mindful, would that be like a lower numbered hertz?
It would be.
Okay.
Like, and drumming is a really, really good example of that. Like those deeper drum settings.
Okay.
So that is bringing you into harmony with, because the higher the hertz, the higher the frequency, which is 777 is a beautiful frequency. But if you're wanting to just chill out and vibe and become more grounded, those lower frequencies are definitely something to bring into your life.
I want to shift back just a little bit and like how we were talking about how food and McDonald's is going to lower your frequency and it is not great other than, for the reasons of for your health, but also just the frequency of it, but also go into like alcohol and how that could also be really detrimental to your frequency and kind of hold you back in ways that maybe people don't understand. They're like, oh, it's fine. I only drink a little bit, or I just drink on Saturdays or whatever. But what that little instance does to your frequency.
Oh, absolutely. It can actually almost, I want to say, like almost hide the frequency and leave it more stagnant. And then you're not actually allowing yourself to flow and feel, going back to those senses, right? And so whenever we do things more of like a numbing state instead of a flowing state, that can also kind of put a halt to that energetic flow as well. And so whenever we're drinking or even partaking in other types of some different types of plant medicine and things like that too, even pharmaceuticals can.
When you say plant medicine, you mean like marijuana?
Yeah,
Or, okay.
like even if it is cannabis, like, and I'm not knocking cannabis, like even alcohol, I'm not knocking it at all. People do what they need to do. However, sometimes people can become more of an addictive state with that as well. And so then it is not allowing you to naturally flow your frequencies and your vibrations, because if we're going to shove things, so whenever we are an active like cannabis user constantly and we're like, oh, I have so much anxiety, I can't deal with this, I'm just going to go and smoke a bowl, whatever it might be. What can happen is technically you're not dealing with the things, right? Because we're just kind of medicating it. Just
it's a
like
Band-Aid.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like popping a Xanax or whatever it might be. And so I always like to tell my guests too that like we start to like kind of shove it underneath that rug and start putting all those underneath that rug. Well, eventually everything starts getting piled in there. And that is also what can cause more of a blockage with our frequencies and our energetic flow, is because we're not technically like dealing with them. We're not coping with them. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice to be able to just get away from moments and to get out of the monkey brain, but we can do that in healthier ways, like with sound healing and things like that, meditation, mindful breathing, mindful eating.
Yes.
And so with that being said, again, I'm not knocking any of those things, but whenever it becomes habits, that's whenever it can create more disease.
Mm-hmm.
Dis-ease can cause disease. And so whenever we're not allowing things to flow properly in alignment with ourselves, those can actually end up becoming blocked in certain parts of our body or chakras.
I was going to say, I think this is a great time to go into chakras now too. Yeah. Okay.
So that can compress in there. And so flowing into chakras.
Yes.
So say that you were somebody who was told as a child, stop acting like that. Stop dancing around. Stop acting out. Just stay still. Just, a lot of children are to be seen and heard type of situation. What that actually ends up doing is that suppresses our second chakra, our sacral chakra, which is all about flow. And when we suppress that chakra specifically, it can actually cause different types of addictions. Cannabis, alcoholism, spending money, even spiritually. I mean, it can go on and on and on with the different types of addictions that it can flow into because we suppress that and we need to find a way to allow it to flow. So a lot of people end up actually going to different things. Like, let me go on my shopping sprees. Let me go and have that second glass of wine. Let me go light up that bowl, pop a Xanax. Let me just go and hyper focus on XYZ thing instead of treating the actual situation of what's going on. And that's what I also love about sound as well, because it can help tune into those things because we need to find sources of release instead of going to outside sources too. It's all about internally of what we can help ourselves with.
Wow. Yeah, that is wild because I feel like I've heard this before, but you just totally, it's, how sometimes people say things in a certain way that sticks. And you just did that for me because I, the way you were describing childhood, I did experience quite a bit of that. And I am in that journey of like releasing those things and healing that inner child. And it's interesting because when I have gone to do Reiki or something along those lines, I always get, like, oh, your sacral chakra is, like you're jammed up there. And so that is interesting. And I didn't even think about how many people, like you said, that were dealing with those childhood things that have not released them and allowed them to flow out of themselves. How many people are just jamming it up even more and more with substances and addictions and all of that. So for someone listening who is like, oh, wow, that's me, and I think I might have a sacral chakra jam. What is something with frequency that they could start doing right now to just let that flow and start to kind of heal that?
Number one, it's always about intention. Because you can do all the Band-Aid fixes without the proper intention. If it's not there, what's the point, right? And so number one, just being ready, because it is powerful. And it can do a lot of us just on that, the start of the healing journey. Like, okay, I'm ready, but where do I begin, right? So a lot of beautiful things with sound frequencies is I really enjoy things that can create movement. Movement, that's also with our sacral chakra, is movement and creativity, flow. So I really enjoy things like rain sticks, something that's going to cause a lot of that movement within us. But
What
I
is
also,
that?
so rain sticks,
I actually never have heard of this. So
rain sticks is an instrument, and there's all sorts of different kinds. It can last for different amounts of minutes. They can go from just a few seconds to 30 minutes. So it's pretty wild, but it creates a sound of rain. And so a lot of people, that's why they go towards more of like when they're trying to go to sleep or meditating, they like to do more rain sounds or water sounds.
Oh, okay.
Also, fun fact, our sacral chakra is the element of water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
again, about that flow,
Mhm.
right? And so rain sticks, I love using. Now, some people, rain sticks are not for them, and we can talk about that more in a bit. But rain sticks do promote a lot of movement. So I like to actually do it over people's bodies to create that movement and that energy flow through their bodies and stuff like that too. And guiding through breath whenever we do that as well, because it's a purge. A lot of things can come up, even us talking about childhood stuff. I'm sure a lot of things in your body, different feelings in your body happened. Be like, oh, yeah, I remember that one time whenever my parents, da 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 da.
It's always my stomach. Like I tense up and then I notice I'm like, wait, I'm not breathing.
Yeah.
Breathe.
And crazy because our stomach, our solar plexus is actually where we hold our fight or flight. Shame and guilt is a big one in our solar plexus as well, but it's right by the sacral.
Yeah.
It's right there by it. And so that gets pretty beautiful too with the release and all that. But we can always feel when certain stories or conversations happen, we can feel it in different parts of our body. But going back with the sound too, like I've even used a lot of shamanic drumming around the sacral to help heal that womb. I sing mantras a lot. I connect with spirit and sing different mantras. Sometimes I don't know what type of mantras I'm going to be singing until I get into that space and I connect to what, is said about that of this is what that person needs too. That is also big with those, client intake forms as well to understand what they're going through before we even start our session. Another part of that is just being careful with those different instruments though too. So I'm a big believer in doing the research on what instruments work well with different frequencies with what people have going on in their bodies. And so the rain sticks, though, are magic. But again, they're not for everybody because sometimes if you have more of an anxiety like feel in your body, rain sticks can be too much for people. It can actually create more chaos within their body, those different sounds of the rain and or they could have had a traumatic situation happen in a storm. We had a lot of tornadoes around here recently with a lot of devastation. So I was getting ready the following weekend to have a group sound session where we were gonna work with the sacral a lot. And I was gonna bring in a lot of rain sticks and thunder sounds and things like that to help release. And I had to sit back and resonate on, is this going to create dis-ease in some people's minds and bodies because of us not knowing what happened to their homes and their lives at those times. So I also have to take in consideration that when I have some sound sessions.
Right. Yeah. If it's a whole group setting and you have all these different experiences and people and yeah. Can you go into that a little bit more with the intake forms? Because that was something I wanted to touch on that is super important. And you do this for your practice, that you do the intake forms and find out, what people are dealing with internally, experience, like all of that. And explain a little bit why you do that. But also for someone like me, I have a thyroid condition. So is there something that you would do differently with me that you wouldn't do with somebody else who doesn't have a thyroid condition?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so client intake forms are a must. No matter who you go to for sound, it is very important that they are understanding what is going on in your body. And there are too many sound practitioners that do not take that into consideration. I've gone to sessions myself where I also have a little bit of an autoimmune disease called Addison's, and it actually affects your thyroid as well. And I've gone to sessions to where they did not ask any questions And I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know,
Right.
right? And so even people listening to this right now, like they may not know that sound can affect you in different ways. And that's a little scary. I've had shamans banging around tincture chimes around my head to where I've almost passed out from them before.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
been in gong sessions before to where they're banging around a certain frequency of gong, not knowing what it can do internally into the body. And I didn't honor myself and step out of a room, and I should have. And so that is another thing too that I want to disclose on this. If sound ever feels uncomfortable for you, anyone listening to this, anyone going to a sound session, honor yourself. I make that very clear in my sessions, especially even with group sound sessions, to where I even have candles next to them. And I ask for them, if they don't feel comfortable with having certain sound around them, turn off the candle light so that you can honor yourself. Because so often we just do as we're told, right? We just do as we're just supposed to do as we're told, and we don't speak up. Again, going
don't
back
want
to
to rock the boat. Don't want to be the one
going back to childhood,
Yeah.
right? Don't want to express the way that I feel. These are all about honoring yourself. And so I always tell everyone, turn that candle off. If that does not serve you, please listen to yourself, because this is also about you. It's not about me, not about me being seen. It's about you and you honoring yourself. And that's what sound and healing and love is all about. And there's too many sound practitioners out there that are not honoring people and their bodies. And it's almost to a point where it can be detrimental for some people.
Detrimental, and it sounds like even counterproductive. Like you're going to these
100.
sound sessions hoping to cleanse and cure and heal, and and then it's when you're doing things that are against what your intake form would, advise.
Yeah.
Then
If they even have an intake form.
Right.
And so going back to that intake form, I am very specific. I have people fill out an intake form before any session. I actually have them fill out 2 intake forms. So it's an intake form whenever they sign up, and it's kind of simplistic. However, I want to know, are you seizure prone? Do you have vertigo? Do you have any plates, pins, or anything like that going on in the body? Are you sensitive to any sound? Are you pregnant? If so, how long and how many trimesters have you gone through? I've had clients who have had extreme vertigo, and it can rock the crystals inside of your ear, which can make it bad whenever afterwards, or uneasy afterwards. If you are seizure prone, sound isn't always something that you need to participate in. Again, like even with the autoimmune system or disease that I have, I'm prone to seizures. And so, and passing out and things like that too. So, and I just found out about this a couple of years ago while learning sound. So it almost helped me understand other people's bodies even deeper. Because if it's going to be too sensitive for me, it's surely going to be too sensitive for you. And so we don't allow our past to define us. We let it refine us. And so with that, I'm not my autoimmune disease, but I'm thankful for the situations with my autoimmune disease so I can help others on their path too. I've had people come in that have had brain surgeries where they have plates inside of their heads. You have to be extremely careful with that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Extremely careful. And I was, especially whenever I was newer into the sound world, I was quite nervous about it. But because of understanding and knowing beforehand, I could make her session so relaxing and ease because I had the understanding of it. Another thing, pacemakers. If you have a pacemaker inside of your heart, sound is not always something that you might want to do. However, you can have a sound practitioner with you that can easily transition you into relaxation with easier sounds, even someone with vertigo and seizure disorders and stuff like that too. But it's understanding the body. And people won't understand the body if they don't know. So if you are not filling out a client intake form, how do they know? How do you know what's going on? Also, another type of intake form that I have is for one-on-one sessions that I offer. And I actually have a chakra intake form that I have people fill out. And it's just different things that happen in each part of the chakras. And it's not like I'm going through and be like, oh, well, that person has this, that person has that. It's it's broken down into the different chakras. So if I'm seeing that you're underlining a lot of things in your sacral area, we're going to be working on some sacral chakra work, girlfriends.
So what does that look like? Because I'm picturing, so for instance, throat chakra, is that something like you have labeled in there, like you're someone that deals with thyroid disease or whatever, and they just circle?
Yep.
Like that's what I have.
Yep. Thyroid disease, if you've had a hard time speaking out.
Okay, so that's in there. So then they circle that. Okay.
However, another thing too that's pretty wild. So it's funny that you mentioned earlier that whenever I was speaking about childhood stuff, you felt it in your solar plexus. Our throat chakra and our solar plexus actually share energy in the different chakra fields.
Those are my two clogs right there. It's always throat, and then it manifested into thyroid disease.
Because dis-ease can cause disease.
Yes.
And so what happens with that too is most of the time, even on your solar plexus part of that chakra intake form, you'll have a lot of circles going on in there. And so, as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, thyroid stuff probably, as soon as you started talking about stomach things and stuff like that too. But what we are able to do though is I can look at all that and then we kind of go over a few things. I'm not like, hey, you got jacked up solar plexus, you got jacked up throat chakra, right. You know what I mean? And so it's like, so tell me a little bit more about what's going on, and I might name a few things that are jumping out to me. But usually once we sit down and talk about, hey, what's going on right now? How are you feeling? What's going on? And I can usually feel out what's happening, plus my intake form previously that you filled out, plus your intake form that you had just filled out with the chakra intake form. And we make magic together. I clear out certain things and help balance and harmonize inside of your body to help that energy flow a little bit more. Again, it's all about intention too, for you and me. And so that's the beautiful thing about sound healing too, is we can start allowing those things to flow.
I would love to actually talk more about chronic illness and maybe even ways that you're using sound to help with your own autoimmune disease. And ways that like you can work with someone who is battling chronic illness or just any type of disease going on in their body, how you can use sound to, I don't know if is heal a good word, because of course we're not doctors here, we don't have the MD at the end of our names, but at the same time, like there are other ways I think to heal things like chronic illness, like autoimmune diseases that don't necessarily have to go the Western medicine direction. So yeah, I would love to hear your take on that and what are some ways that you work with people with that situation.
Appreciate that. And first, I want to say thank you with that, even the word healing, because it's even hard for me to say I'm a sound healer. I like to say I'm a sound practitioner because I'm not healing you. Intention and even the frequencies of the sound. And it's also like not a one size fits all thing. And so it's like, I'm not healing you. I'm walking beside you on your path. And so I really want to first say thank you for even bringing that up too. But even with like the sound, like what you said with the chronic illness and things like that. For me, it's not a one size fits all. I've worked really hard, not just with the sound frequencies, but also with mindful breath and meditation. And I bring those things in to the sessions as well. So in our minds, we can have a monkey brain, right? Like, like I have to go do this. I have to go do that. I have to, go, 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 go. I'm going to come here and talk on this podcast. Oh my gosh. What if I start getting like talking in circles, all the things? And so what we have to do also is tune into our body. Like before you said, I felt that in my stomach. So whenever we spoke about like childhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you felt that into your stomach. Okay. So let's just sit back for a second and think about that. All right. So right away, I said, I spoke about something about how children are to be seen and not heard, right? And then you're like, ooh, my stomach, that kind of jacked up a little bit, right? And so that's the first thing, is recognizing what is going on within the body. Again, client intake forms help with that. Us communicating helps with that. But
like doing an audit of yourself first.
Yeah. Doing that body scan, right? Where am I feeling this? And so you felt that in your solar plexus, right? And so something that really can help with that is like, okay, I'm going to sit back and take a breath, right? And you said that too, I do believe.
Yes, I have to remind myself, I'm like, take a breath.
Take a breath, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing. And that's what we do first whenever we get ready for your sound session. Let's do some mindful breathing. And let's breathe in some calm, peace, and love. Right there, that relaxed you a little bit, didn't it?
Yes.
Right, man. So you just got out of that monkey mind of all this childhood things, all these memories of what just happened, and you went right to your heart space, and you're like, I am going to just start breathing. And breathe in that air and breathe that around, right? Because right there, you're moving your own energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so then through that, let's start imagining with that breath. Okay, so now we're going to the guided meditation part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Love and peace and calm going in. And then whenever you're exhaling, releasing the past and the future, because all we have are the moments right now. So right there, you just took your mind out of back then and even the future of, oh my gosh, I got to hurry up and I got to get back on track of what we're talking about, all the things. You're right now in this space, right?
Yes.
So then that's whenever we can start going through that meditation of that mindful breathing. Sometimes I'll bring in some mantras with something like a Shruti box. I like to use something called a Shruti box, which is an instrument that brings out different harmonious sounds and frequencies. And whenever I'm speaking these mantras, singing and chanting these mantras, it's again getting you out of this monkey mind and bringing you back into the now moment. And so then we are releasing that fight or flight, and you're lowering that blood pressure and going into a state of relaxation. Right there, you are changing up how your stomach feels, right?
Yes.
How your throat feels. You feel more relaxed. So that's whenever we're starting to begin to get into that state of calm, right? And relaxation, to where now your body can easily absorb the frequencies that your body needs. Then I will also take different instruments, Tibetan bowls, things like that actually go in tune and help the frequency of your body, or the things like your solar plexus. So your solar plexus might be out of tune a little bit, right? So think about a guitar string. It's like out of tune.
Yeah.
And I need to put another guitar string that's in tune next to it so that it can start tuning up together. Once it's tuned up together and your chi can flow easily, that can help that energy move in harmony and calm. Whenever we can move our body in calmness and in harmony, we're getting out of our mind, right? We're more within that flow to where then our body can get out of our mind, that monkey brain can relax to where your body can start healing other parts of your system instead of all your energy going up to your brain and the monkey mind and the worry or the stress into your stomach and thinking about the stress into your stomach and nausea or whatever might be happening, your throat tightening up, right?
Yeah.
And so then your body can focus now on putting that good energy into the parts of your body that it needs. That is helping right then and there your body help, quote unquote, heal the different parts of your body in the way that we're meant to. We are not meant to live in a state of fight or flight. And in society where we're at nowadays, we are, because we have our phone, we have the news, we have constant chaos, right? Back in the day, we lived in fight or flight because we were hunters and gatherers and like fighting off wild animals and people for our food and stuff. But now it's constant. And so our body is in that like freeze mode constantly.
Yes.
And then our bodies are not able to heal different things in our body because it's so worried about protecting us. That barrier. You know what I mean?
Stay alive.
Stay alive. Yeah.
Keep the bills paid. Get the kids to cook dinner. Yeah.
Absolutely. All the things. And whenever we can allow ourselves to flow and be more mindful, that's whenever our physical bodies can start healing itself in different ways.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. And I was so relaxed too. I was like everything you were saying.
Cool.
So I can only imagine what a session's like with you. You have a very like relaxing presence.
Thank you. You do too. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. Do you ever like couple this with Reiki? Because as you were explaining everything that you take your clients through, I was actually having a thought of like Reiki has everything to do with chakras and clearing and all that too. So I would love to know how this could couple with Reiki and if you do that.
I love this. So I actually am not Reiki certified. I was actually looking into getting Reiki certified because it's exploding right now. And I'm like, well, I'm working with energy. How can I work more with this?
I feel like it would be such a hybrid, like if you were Reiki certified
It is
both.
wild. So I was going on a huge downward spiral of doing my research and trying to find Reiki healers that could teach me, that I felt comfortable with, that were honest with their work and things like that as well. Because let's get real. The healing world, you have to be careful. You have to be careful of false prophets, things like that too.
Yes. And I feel like it's getting worse and worse the more trendy it's becoming.
Yeah. And it's scary.
Yes.
It's very scary. I've had to go through my own inner work with this a lot lately. Just because of how scary it actually is. And yeah, that's a whole nother
not to derail you either,
Yeah.
but yes, I have been in settings where like I'm doing a group, body movement type of class. And someone will be like, I'll just be in casual conversation with someone next to me and they're like, oh yeah, I actually am Reiki certified and I practice. And I'm thinking like, I feel like I have a very strong energy detector. I can pick up on energy so fast. And I've been like that since I was a kid. And which is why I'm so excited to have you on to talk about this. But, and yeah, it blew my mind because I was like, whoa, I would have never thought that about you because your energy is just real off. And I mean, obviously didn't say that, but it's just a thought that's in my head. And then it just kind of made me think deeper into how many people are there out there branding themselves as energy healers or Reiki practitioners or whatever, who just aren't in a very high frequency or positive energy themselves. And I almost feel like that would be detrimental to their client or counterproductive.
100%.
Yeah.
Even sound practitioners. There are so many sound practitioners out there that have never even taken a class. Anybody can buy a bowl.
Right.
Anybody can buy a bowl and say, I'm gonna hear.
We have yogis out there doing it in their classes.
Yeah, and that have never been certified at all and ever taken a class. And that also can be very scary. And so same thing with Reiki. So going back to that though, I kept going down a spiral of wanting to get Reiki certified because, I want to do this the right way. Mm-hmm. I want to help people. And so it didn't feel good though. I kept looking at all these different people that offered it and intuitively, and also honoring myself, which I didn't do in the past and I'm still working on, just following that intuition, like, ooh, that gives me the ick.
Yeah.
I don't know, girl. And so it's just, I found a girlfriend that I actually work with at one of the studios I work with. She gives massages while I do sound, and she's Reiki certified.
On the client, like as you're doing sound?
Yes,
on
girl.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so she actually...
Okay, sign me up.
Yeah, it's amazing. Fifth Element Studios, everybody.
Okay.
It's fantastic. And she is, oh my God, I just got goosebumps thinking of her because she is awesome at what she does. And she is Reiki certified. And so I kept talking to her. I was like, I really want to get Reiki certified myself. So she was like, let me do some research. I have a lot of people that I've spoken to, and I've even gotten Reiki certified with certain people. Let me start reaching out. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Because I very much trust her with that. And so she gave me a name of a lady. And I was like, holy guacamole, I know this person, because she actually gave my husband and I a womb healing session. Whenever we had lost a baby a few years ago, we had a miscarriage. And it was really hard for us to get past the grief and to also get pregnant again. Mm-hmm. It was just really hard for the fertility part of it.
Yeah.
And this girl. So I ended up contacting her. I'm like, I already know her. We just had the session with her. I feel so good about this. So her name is Adriana.
So she's local.
She's local.
Oh,
she's in St.
nice.
Charles.
Okay.
She's the owner of Lunar Healing. And fantastic woman. And I heard, she was doing the Reiki certifications, and queen, will you do this with me? And she was like, well, we could do that. However, because Reiki has been thrown around so much, I'm not connecting with teaching it anymore because it has gone more mainstream.
Yes.
And I don't believe in that as much as I care to admit because of how people are using it.
Wow.
Lady at the yoga studio, intuition situation, like you were saying.
Yes.
So, and she said, but I have...
It deterred me because I've had thoughts of getting certified, but it was kind of like, wow. I mean, they're just handing these out like candy.
Girl.
Candy on Halloween.
And like, give me that money.
Yeah.
And then I will certify you in 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, in one weekend. Girl, that ain't how it's done. Sister, no. Mm-hmm. And so with Adriana, she was like, I teach something else. Do tell. So she teaches more shamanic work to where she's been amazing. To where you go deep within into your own energetic abilities and also calling upon your ancestors and your past lives and what they have brought to the table. Because we are of them. We are of our mothers, our grandmothers' grandmothers, in beautiful ways. And so that is actually being passed down generation to generation. We're just unaware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So she digs in deeper to what your energetic healing abilities are. And so that has been my journey recently, is
Wow.
working with her
And bringing up
deeply.
things that you might not even know that you have this ability.
100%. It has been
Wow.
life-changing already, to say the least. And don't get me wrong, it's even been before that. I've had visions and I've had past life readings and
I did a
doing
past life Reiki session.
Girl.
It was
like
wild.
what?
Yeah.
And then it all
Also from a
connects.
woman with great energy though too. So
Yes.
it made me feel even more relaxed and
Mhm.
more
Yes.
open to it.
But that's the thing, because there's so many false prophets out there. They're
Yes.
like, let me try to find what your past lineage is. And then you're like, what is going on?
I'm
But
sensing a
yes.
bad relationship in your life. I'm like, well, where do we start? Like, how far back do we want to go?
Or not even like with yours. Again, it could have been your mother's, your grandmother's,
Yes.
all the situations too. But it's just working with her has been a game changer. But then also, because I have done other work with other of my own life coaches and my own healers that I've been working with, I have worked very closely with a woman that is a psychedelic integration coach. And she has helped me dig into a lot of past life things and stuff like that as well, even with learning breath work, meditation, yoga. She's also my yoga instructor that I work with online every week and stuff like that as well. But digging into the plant medicine with her and her integration before and afterwards has helped me on my own path of wellness and everything like that too, even with the shaman that I'm working with. And so it's beautiful how everything can come into full circle. But whenever I do sessions with my clients, whether it is one-on-one or group sound sessions with working with spirit, and my ancestors have been incredible, to where I don't want it to sound wild, but it's almost like the movement of the energy within the room. It's beautiful. And I know it's them also helping me with that. And then it's also your ancestors helping you. I did a beautiful women's retreat last weekend where we honored our wombs and our mothers and our grandmothers. And we all came together with music and feeling all of our ancestors and spirit with us then. It was unbelievable and powerful.
I'm like getting goosebumps thinking about it because I know the feeling. It may not be the exact feeling, but I've been in group settings where I've felt like where the energy was created in this container through all of us. And so I'm tracking with where you're at as far as like how it feels when you're in these group sessions. Like it is definitely powerful. And
It's
you leave
amazing.
just kind of like, holy shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also about intention too. Going back to the frequency, if you have someone that has like this major chip on their shoulder and they're just like, my wife brought me here and I'm not even for it. Like that can kind of be the ick. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about group intention as well. And what we are all manifesting together. And it's powerful. The vibrations are powerful. And whenever we can be open to spirit and to love, that's the biggest movement in all of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to go way far on the contrast of everything we've been talking about and talk about ways that people are lowering their frequency. I know we talked about food and alcohol and addictions and stuff like that, but even through just like music in the car and how, if let's say your life is just in a state of constant like bombs going off and just in total disarray, but you're listening to either sad emo songs or screamo, like how that can affect you, or just kind of negative, toxic lyrics, or, and that's even going off of frequency itself. But I mean, I feel like even words maybe carry some frequency weight, but just talk about that too, like how just little bitty daily life habits can be altering your frequency in a negative way to where like that's why your manifestations aren't coming in.
100%. Well, it's like what you said. If you are depressed and you want to go and lay down and just put your blanket over your head and just can't get out of that. But then you're going to go and listen to very low vibe music that's going to be emo, very sad. The lyrics in it are very sad and hurtful.
I hate to say it. I think Billie Eilish is a very talented artist. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
However, some of her music, if it pops on and I'm already having like a weird day, I am just like, why do I feel worse right now?
Yeah.
Like it does put me in it. Maybe it's just me too.
Nope.
I'm not saying it might not be for everybody, but it does put me in like a very weird energy.
Yeah. I've always felt the same way. I've joked with my teenager before about it. I'm like, oh, we got that wham music going on, huh?
Yeah.
Because then they're just like, they want to be mopey and like, oh, is life. My whole body language just like changed even thinking about, some of that. She is very talented. Don't get it twisted. She's very talented. However, that's not the vibe I work with. Like, I can't do it. And I do think that there's a place for everything, possibly. It's just not where I want to bring that. I'm an empath. I'm an extreme empath. So the music I listen to very much affects me.
Same.
Yes. So if it's like what you're saying, Billie Eilish, and it's like very low. So you even her lyrics, very, very kind of sad.
Yeah, if you do listen to the lyrics.
Yes. All
just
those
like
things.
everything's horrible.
Like, I'm going to go ahead and cry in the bathroom and eat some chocolate.
Yes.
You're right. And so, but also like, there'll be moments where I've had, I have like a playlist that I've made on Amazon Music where it's just called Vibes. And it's like more spiritual type of music, good frequency, stuff like that. And if we're going in the car and my husband puts on some AC/DC, like we are rocking out, like I will have to literally look at him and be like, yo, like I'm not feeling this. We need to change this up a little bit. Like, why don't we rock and roll to some like, Pink Floyd? I'm down for that if you want to do it. Something like that. But like this AC/DC, like, and girl, like don't get it twisted. Whenever I was in bands and cover bands and stuff like that before, I sang AC/DC, like so fun.
Yeah.
But for me, like that high pitched, wild, angsty type of sound, it's not for me right now most of the time. Good for people that it is for, but it's not for me. On the flip side of it, some people that are in a depressed state, or they need to just again get their sacral chakra moving. They may need something that's going to get them fired up, just like at the gym. You don't want to have I guess some people can listen to Billie Eilish while they're working out. Good for them. But some people might need something to promote that movement inside of them, like AC/DC or like
That's
some
me.
sort of like,
For working out, I'm like deep house music all day.
Exactly. Yeah. And so,
or cleaning my house, deep house music.
You want to keep going, right? You don't want to have some rain sticks going on.
No.
Like with the spa.
Like, let's save the cleaning for later.
That's my problem most of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's just sit outside and listen to the chimes. It's fine.
Yes.
That basket of laundry can wait for a little while. But whenever we need that motivation, it is good to have those type of songs happening. Or if you are super angsty and you're like, I have been talking all day, or I have been, it has been nonstop running around with the kids, all this and that, I need to lower that vibration just a little bit more to bring me down. That's whenever that nice spa music, the white noise, can really calm you. But also like you were saying too, like lyrics. Lyrics play a big role in what we're saying in our minds, right? So I'm really big on affirmations. Even at sessions, I talk about something that my life coach had helped me out with a journaling prompt, and it's I am affirmations. And you write down an affirmation 55 times for 5 days. And it's a game changer because if you're repeating those positive affirmations in your mind, you're rewiring it. But it's the same thing for negativity. If you're listening to songs that are pretty much like you're a piece of shit and whatever it might be, that's going to be playing in your head.
Like,
constantly.
I'm the worst.
I'm the
My life
worst.
sucks.
I'm going to go cry.
Yeah.
Like, that's not.
I love Machine Gun Kelly, but sometimes, I gotta,
Like, come on,
I gotta
babe.
turn it off.
Right. Come on. And so it's just, if we're replaying those things, that's not feeding your soul or your mind. So having things with positive and like positivity, positive lyrics. I went to a meditation session a couple weeks ago, and she even put on the song by India Ari, I Am Light. Very much encourage you to hear it.
Okay.
Because it's beautiful, it's empowering, it's soft, it's self-love. And that's what it's all about too. That's what I personally want to have being played whenever I'm driving here and I'm getting a little angsty about being on this beautiful podcast and getting a little, no, like, I am light, I am love, I am divine, I am worthy. I didn't have parents that sat there and told me those type of things growing up. And it was beautiful. I was playing with my 2-year-old the other day, and she was having a hard time. We were playing on this old jungle gym thing, and she was getting frustrated with herself. And I was like, her name is Kamora. And I'm like, Kamora, you are so brave. Can you say that with me? I am so brave. And she said it back to me, and I'm like, you are so strong. And you say that back to me, I am so strong. Because she was getting in her head about going up this little balance beam thing that you can climb up. And I'll tell you what, because she was hearing the empowerment and repeating the empowerment, she felt empowered. And she went up there and did it, despite being afraid. How cool is that we as adults have the capability of doing that for ourselves, even if we never got that as a child?
Yes.
So that is the power of the affirmations, good words and songs, right? The higher frequencies of music when it's needed, and the lower ones whenever it's needed as well.
I love that. And I know you mentioned that you had a playlist too. But is there anything else that you use for in your everyday life with sound that just helps you, either whether it's starting your day in a higher frequency or ending it or using throughout the day? Like whether that's a specific playlist that someone can jump onto, or maybe it's an app. Maybe you have an app that you're able to just tune into something specific. But what do you do in your everyday life?
Well, always, I try to journal in the morning, those 5:55s. That is a big one, but I like to drum in the mornings whenever I can. I will, even if it's raining, like even my youngest and I, when I let her dance in the rain a couple days, I think it was Monday that it was raining. And I just sat and drummed and chanted. And it wasn't any specific mantra. I just allowed spirit to come through me, and planting my feet on the grass while I'm connecting with my drum and spirit and the grounding of that. And even today, I did that, but also today, again, even getting a little nervous with coming on to the podcast. Let's get real. I went and I played my gongs. And allowed those frequencies to come through me. and to give me that peace and that love and that flow and the clearing that I knew I needed at that moment. I use Insight Timer.
I have that app too. Okay.
Every
I'm glad you said that because I'm like, is that good? Is
day.
it not good?
Every single day I use
Okay.
it. And I just use the free version because how
Yes,
beautiful is that?
same.
And so my husband and I listen to it every single night before we go to bed. However, speaking with my Adriana that I had spoken to before, she was like, be careful with how long you listen to that all throughout the night. Because on Insight Timer with my daughter, my youngest, I was having it played 24 hours a day.
Oh.
Yeah, because on there you can choose like the time. You can put the
Yes.
timer on there. I had it playing 24 hours a day. And she was even expressing, which I didn't know. We don't know what we don't know. That if you are constantly playing those frequencies 24 hours a day, it can actually put your mind into other frequencies and not allow you to sleep restfully. So having that
wow.
timer and only choosing, so like my husband and I will do like the 180-minute sessions that they have on Insight Timer for sleep, and that's all I do. Before, I was trying to choose like 3 and 5 hour ones. And she was even expressing that it can actually pull you out of certain dream states, which I noticed that was happening, but I just chucked it up to, oh, I just have to get up to use the restroom or whatever. But no, it was actually putting me into different states to where I wasn't fully into that deep dream state that we're supposed to have at night. And so that was a beautiful learning situation for me too. But Insight Timer.
That's interesting because I know a lot of people like parents have that those sound machines in their kids' rooms. And like maybe it's just rain, but there is a frequency of rain or whatever. Like just being mindful of like, what's playing 24/7 or throughout the night. And
And also like, this sounds wild too, but also what was the intention behind the person that was recording it?
Ooh, yeah.
So that one was a big one that popped up recently too. And I was like, heard, very much heard, because we don't know those people. You know what I mean? And so that's also being mindful with that as well. And the different things too. Like you don't always want to have birds chirping while you're trying to go to sleep, because that actually awakens you because, birds know whenever the sun is rising, and they're actually chirping to also help the plants grow and everything like
Nature's
that.
alarm clock.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be listening to that at night. Crickets, yeah, man. And sometimes now that it's starting to become summer around here-ish, I feel like we went straight from winter to now.
Oh my gosh, that's Missouri.
And so the crickets are starting to be more known and stuff like that too. So I've actually been trying to be mindful of not listening to that, the Insight Timer every night, and allowing the sounds of nature to also come with us, and doing mindful breathing. Mindful breathing at night is a very big part of how I go to sleep, and imagining my breath going up my chakras and clearing them out, going above my crown and then coming right back down. And that's something called spinal breathing. And then bringing that back up and coming above to the crown and then going back down to, our hip area, our root. And that's been a really big one as well. But doing also my playlist. I listen to my playlist every day, and I'll put it on shuffle and stuff like that too. But it's songs that really speak to me. Sometimes that specific song isn't going to speak to me at that moment, so I'll just skip it. But I've put a lot of thought into like having this specific playlist, because I would listen to songs like I have on my playlist while I was doing yoga with my yoga instructor, Lauren, that I do online. I'm like, man, I can just make my own, because I would find myself like coming out of like a yin yoga and like picking up the remote and changing it. And I'm like, but that's disrupting my flow of, what I'm trying to work through innerly. And so that's been an awesome thing too, having that little playlist. And then I'm actually working on it right now to where I'm going to start offering virtual sessions and having my own things recorded so that people can also enjoy some of the sounds that I provide too.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
actually going to ask that if, like, for someone listening who may not be local to where we are, if there's some way that they can still get you and work with you, but virtually.
I appreciate that. It's a lot, especially with all the different microphones and recording devices. Some instruments don't pick up in certain ways, even like with Wi-Fi. I just learned that like Wi-Fi can disrupt how the sound actually is on our computers and things like that too. So I'm working very closely with somebody right now who's actually teaching me how to make virtual sessions possible. So, I mean, it is happening this year. I am very passionate about wanting to help people outside of the area. And then also being able to do check-ins with people, like after their sessions, being able to do check-ins afterwards, because we shed a lot during sound sessions. And sometimes we don't know what to do with that and how to process that. And I want people to understand that they are seen with what is happening. And I want to be able to be there for them on their process, because it can be very lonely in the healing world. Very, very lonely, especially like not under, like what you were saying too about the different practitioners that you just don't know about. Like, not everyone is going to be a positive place and space for you to have vulnerability with. And I want to be able to offer that with people, because sound
And a lot of
can
people don't
hurt.
have that in
No.
their life. Like,
No.
not just
Absolutely.
not having a practitioner, but maybe not like friends, family. Like,
I went through that with my own healing journey. It was very lonely during my healing journey because people just didn't understand. And I've changed, quote unquote,
Yes.
right? So, but you used to pour until your cup was empty. What's happening? Why aren't you just giving until to the detriment of yourself? Girl, I'm tired.
yes.
And my body was tired. And that's whenever, I don't know if you ever heard of the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Yes, I have.
Fantastic. Rough read.
I just like that saying in general.
But it's true.
Yeah.
And that's even what happened with my immune system. My body was screaming at me. And I didn't know what else to do except it's up to me, because we all have choices. So I could either be that person in bed with the cover over my head and just giving up, or I can do something about it. Because again, we can let our past and our situations define us, or we can let them refine us. And that is something that I will stand by until the day that I die. We all have choices. And I made a choice to go on the healing journey. I've lost a lot of people in my life because of it. And that's okay. Because I have to also, I don't know if you ever heard of that like tree theory, of there are people in your life that are going to be your roots, and they are going to help you stay firm into the ground, into your place. There are going to be people in your lives that are like the tree limbs and the branches, and they're just going to sway back and forth with the wind. But then there's also going to be people in your life that are like the leaves that come and go. But that's why it's super important to practice part of the yogic philosophy. They talk about parigraha, and honoring the moments where they are with whoever you are with during those moments, but understand that it's okay to let go and grow, because every moment is valid. I even have it. That was my 555 that I worked on for 2 months. All paths are valid. Even all relationships are valid, even if they are hurtful, even if they do leave whenever you need them the most. That's okay, because that's also their path. And it's also showing us that we can do this. And it's also about loving ourselves. And I feel like that's the pivotal part of healing, is it's up to us. And we have to learn how to be comfortable in the silence in the healing world. We have to, because it ain't about codependency anymore. And a lot of us go through that. A lot of us go through codependency, whether it's the need to be needed, or the need of others for whatever reason. But we have to be comfortable within ourselves. And again, that's, to me, on my journey, sound was huge because that fed me. I have been around music my whole life. I even sang at Mississippi Nights whenever it was around a long time ago. I worked at music studios. I've been in bands. I've sang at church. I've done all these things. And at one point, I shut it all down. And I vowed to never sing again, never do music again, because I didn't feel like I was worthy of it. And with healing, it helped me find that within myself again. And I didn't realize how beautiful sound can help us and clear things out for us, and the movement, the flow, especially with our sacral girl. And so that was just, but I had to be super comfortable in the silence. And my healing path really took place January of 2020.
Oh, wow.
January
What a wild time.
2020.
Or
And
a wild
it didn't
year
even
anyway.
start yet.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't even really aware of all the shit happening. But I was getting so physically ill.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking care of my mother-in-law that had stage 4 colon cancer, and I was her caretaker. I can't even begin to express. I have so much respect for caretakers, so much respect. But I was also working full time and doing extreme martial arts on top of it, raising a family. And we had some pretty crazy things happening at the end of 2019 with my mother-in-law. But then we had some other traumatic things happening in our life that I was giving up. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted. Why is it that I keep pouring? And I felt like life was just hammering down on me. I couldn't keep food down. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I felt like I was dying. I really did I felt like I was dying. And that's whenever I found my beautiful life coach. And she's actually a Missouri native, and now she lives in Florida. And she was the psychedelic integration coach that I was telling you about just a little while ago. And I was tired, and I've known her my whole life. Crazy, full circle, all the things.
Wow,
but
yeah.
I saw her journey, and I'm like, I don't have anything else to lose. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started with her, and I almost begged for COVID. I know that sounds sick. Not the sadness of everything, but to stop and focus on me. Because
like how everything just shut down.
Everything shut down.
Okay.
And it was almost like because I worked as a hairdresser for about 20 years. And so I was always, working 60 hours a week. I was, constantly on my feet, go, working 16-hour days. Like, it was nuts. And it was just like COVID allowed me to focus on me. And guess what? That phone stopped, girl. I wasn't serving people. So that phone stopped. And that was a hard thing too, of like, oh, did people just like me because I provided for them? You know, that was like a huge thing I had to work through as well. But it was like, no, man, this is time for you to help yourself and to heal you. I pissed off a lot of people too, because I took advantage of COVID. And I was like, oh man, I got to stay inside. Sorry, y'all. It was because I was so deep within my healing journey, so deep within it, and being with my family, cooking 3 meals a day and enjoying those 5 senses. That's whenever I started learning the 5 senses too. And just, being outside with my kids and just enjoying the little things. And then because I was learning this whole healing path, I was able to show my children this and grow and show them that it's okay to work on yourself, to look in a mirror and do I am affirmations, to sit down and journal the 555s or any other journaling technique, to listen to the calming sounds. And then that's whenever sound started coming back into our lives too. And I feel like it's important for us to show our kids too, right?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
It's okay to take care of yourself, and it's okay to love you, not in a selfish way, but self-love is not selfish. you know? And so it's just powerful within that too.
Yes. Well, you have that's an amazing story,
Yeah, I
really.
appreciate
And
you.
it's interesting because I've heard so many people say that COVID kind of was like this crazy like awakening period for them. So many people. And so it's really neat to put that into perspective. Like, yes, COVID was horrible, lots of things changed, the country shut down, people died and everything. But I guess this is kind of like the other side of that, is that so many like great things happen for people because it was just like a giant pause and reset time.
Yeah. And I feel like it also helps you remember those moments. You can still implement like the pause and reset moment, not the chaos moments of it. But that's how you can implement that into wellness journeys. Because again, that fight or flight, that constant go, right? How often were you going before that? And then you were kind of forced to like, not.
Yeah.
And so it's just like kind of like reminders of those times too. Because I have to remind myself that like we don't have to pile all this stuff on our calendar to do what? Like it's okay to say no and to honor yourself with things. And if that bothers somebody, that's not on you. That's just how they're feeling and a trigger that they're feeling with that. But it's just I feel like that time helped me learn how to honor myself and saying like, no, that's not going to serve me right now. And that was huge on the healing path too. And just taking those moments.
I would love for you to drop everything you have coming up, how to work with you for someone listening, any events you have coming up too, and just for anybody, how they can follow along your journey and, websites, social media, all that. So go ahead and just give us it all.
I appreciate it. All information and how to book is at www.vibrationalpatterns.com. I'm also on Instagram, vibrational_patterns. And then I just actually made a Facebook page of vibrational patterns, just to be off of, just the personal Facebook page and the regular. How you can book is on vibrationalpatterns.com. And I also made a special discount code with this podcast. So anyone that listens to the podcast, all they need to do is enter code Inside Voice and they can get 10% off any one-on-one or couples session.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, just to like give back to you and supporting what you do as well. But yeah, I have so many different group session offerings, and I usually book those out a couple months in advance, and that's also on the website. I work out of a couple different studios, and so I work with, like I said, the lady that does the massage, and then I work at a yoga studio as well. And so if it's ever, I also book corporate events too, and people can just DM me or contact me on my website for more information, even with private group settings too.
I love it. I seriously cannot wait to do a session with you just after this podcast. And like I said, I'm very, and maybe the word is empathic, but I can feel if like our energy's a match or that I feel like I'm going to do what I'm intending to do by booking one of your sessions, and you are definitely one of those people. So I have enjoyed this tremendously. Thank you so much for coming on. And I've loved this conversation.
Same. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you. Thanks.
As always, I appreciate you all so much for listening. My goal is for these episodes to at least help one person in some aspect of their life. So if you like what you hear, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe to the show, as well as follow us on social media at Inside Voice Pod. Thanks.